MK, and well, instead you just see them at least take a map, and that's the thing I feel quite bad for Epsilon is if they do lose this, they are ultimately out, but they haven't been dominated in any series so far. Either way, Zealous is going to go very aggressive up mid, so the CT side starting as they wish to continue, and that's a lovely shot, hitting the one tap, not quite able to finish off Victor just yet, but doing a hell of a lot of damage, and ultimately the bomb's still in spawn. It seemed like MK were trying to feel out the area, and instead, well, Spyleader can't feel anything.
Completely blinded there, and now we're seeing a bit of a lurk coming in from Nicky, trying to push his way on towards the B side, looking for a frag on towards Rez. But he's actually going to be turning around on the sport, takes down Draken. So an unexpected turn of events. There's now Rez left over onto the B side. He gets taken down as well, and suddenly the B side left open, a platter waiting to be served into the hands of the MK side. But unfortunately, the bomb is actually over towards the A side.
Yeah, ultimately it leaves it down to a 3 versus 2. They've somehow brought this back into their favor with Bubble finding another headshot. Freddy and Disco in a decent position, and actually going to be a dink coming in from Freddy there, looking for a little bit more through the boxes, but now the after plant positions, they're always very good over towards this box plant. It allows Victor to go all the way around. However, he does have a Glock, and at long range we know how bad the Glock can be. Freddy also holding the position, he's ready for this, but they've now stopped defusing the bomb, and we still have Nicky over towards another position, holding over towards ramp, and they're just tapping away here, but they find both.
Two beautiful one-taps to end that round. Epsilon, they're going to walk away with the defuse, and well, once again the Swedish side actually pick up a pistol round in the unexpected scenario. And now they will find themselves rewarded doing just that. It's going to be a handful of SMGs and rifles that they can opt to go for. We're going to be seeing exactly what they do opt to do into this buy time now. It's going to be 2 rifles at least brought up so far, maybe that 3 falling into the hands of Doppler. And more than likely the expected route now is going to be a UMP in the hands of Rez and Draken, as well as 1 kit being brought up into the hands of Rez, which 1 kit maybe not quite as much as they want to be seeing, but even then this should be a fairly simple round for them to pull off. It should be just whip out the SMGs, make yourself some money, use the rifles to take those longer off duels, and overall you shouldn't be stressing too much.
Yeah, ultimately it would have either limited the nades that Draken had or meant that one of the rifles would have had to go for something less. So I don't mind 1 kit in this sort of round. Of course, we've seen some hefty pistol play already for MK, but they are just playing passive again. They're waiting for the CTs to come to them, see if they'll go for any more aggression, and I like that sort of reaction play. They're not going to allow them to punish them once again, but I'm hoping that this will, well, I'm hoping this will work for the CT side. Because, as said, I am sort of a little bit biased in this one because I want that because I want the statistical factor to happen where it could make the sort of rounds very interesting, make the matches that we have coming up very interesting, but also because of the fact that I like to see the buy win around. These pistols, they do make me a little bit salty sometimes.
Some interesting thoughts there. The last chance qualifier, you might say, for the Epsilon side if they do want to keep their dreams well and truly intact. And to kick things off, it's going to be a little bit of a slow push coming out from the MK side, already being punished there by the rifle of Doppler. He finds himself 1, looking to make it 2, of course. He's just going to be trying to dish out some effective damage there. The pistol push being completely shut down in connector. They're trying their best to find 1 frag. Nicky will pick up a frag on towards Draken, but even then it's not going to be enough. Just Bubble and NKL, the 2 men left alive. They're going to be picked off 1 by 1. No opportunity for them to make any further money. Albeit Bubble will find a beautiful shot there with a deagle on towards Zealous.
Yeah, better round, a cleaner round, and hopefully we'll see the push continue from Epsilon on their CT side. Of course, we do talk about this being a CT-sided map, although in this tournament we've seen some more T-sided rounds coming in, so still a possibility for MK to push this one forward. Of course, they are still going to go for a buy. They don't really do that eco strategy ever, so I'm not a huge fan of this. I like to see the buy coming in with as much nades as possible and everything in hand, everything to boot, as we will say, but you never know, they might make this work. A bomb plant would be valuable. We are going to see a kill from Spyleader onto one of his and one of theirs, but either way, it still seems to be working out decently as they do get that bomb plant, and now they're just going to try and hold on to this, do as much damage as possible. Unfortunately, both the rotating players are quite far away. Now they have that push coming in, tapping away. Bubble will find another one, and you have to remember, damage is so valuable at this stage. But NKL, he doesn't have much hope here. Got to go for the spam. Actually drops the player trying to defuse the bomb. And now going to throw out a Molotov. Will that actually land? It doesn't look like it will because the smoke is still in play. And Draken is just going to defuse the bomb. An unfortunate scenario as NKL thought he was safe there.
You said damage was a big factor though. NKL will pick up another frag. So takes down another rifle. That means Epsilon are only going to walk away with 1 M4. Or make that 2 M4s into this 4th round. Albeit they are going to be buying up an M4 into the hands of Zealous. And they should be following suit there with Rez and Doppler, with Doppler in fact actually opting for the AWP route this time around. And Well, we mentioned this head-to-head AWP battle between Bubble and Doppler. Are we going to be seeing that here? The answer could have probably been no, because there is no AWP in play on the MK side. And in fact, we're seeing more of an execute-based style from the MK side. They're going to be gambling with a bit of a slow A push, no smokes, no flashes being rolled out there, and well, they will find one. They're going to make it a second as well. But even then, is it going to work out in a very uncomfortable scenario? See Draken just looking towards Palace there, nice and patiently, waiting to see if any frags will present themselves, of course, as now where the smokes start to roll down, smoking off that bomb spot here. Zealous going to be pushing himself nice up mid there. Draken will pick himself up one frag respectively, and suddenly a push all falling apart for the MK side. Just Bubble and Spyler, the two men left alive for Palace and now.
We do have a 2 versus 2 scenario building up though. The CT side do seem to be favored, but the positioning is decent, and that's a nice spray from Spy Leader. He's going to open one more frag up and leave Rez all alone. Doesn't have a kit either, just trying to find it in the smoke, but Spy Leader will take him down and get around on the board for the T side. So much, much better stuff coming in there. Still very, very close, but look at the damage that has done, and this force by, what? Evening out the cash, it seems, as Draken was having a lot of bank behind him. Still not a fan. Still not a fan at all. If they can make it work, prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. But otherwise, it's just going to give another round away and let the T start rolling.
It's going to be tracking over towards the flank, nice and patient with your goes for a peek there. Doppler will take the head clean off a Spider with a Deagle, though, trying to do the damage, of course. The CZ will go for a peek there, punished by a Bubble. We'll be seeing the outcome of these eco force-ups. I guess you can aptly describe them as you see Nicky pick himself up another frag, taking down Doppler. Seems to be all falling apart from the Swedish side at this point, trying to make use of the AWP. Draken not in too good of a situation though to dish out any damage at all here. Over towards the tip of connector, but without any push rolling in down mid just or short, should I say, just yet. I think for him to go for a face here, and we see Rez trying his best with the Deagle, spamming away, taken down by NKL though, and well, the punishment is just being inflicted onto the Swedish side suddenly. MK, they really are just bringing something new to the table, punishing this force up, and well, this is where the tables could swiftly turn.
Well, this is actually the sort of scenario where you could see MK come back into the game at least on 3-all, and you have to talk about the fact that really you don't need too many rounds on that T side. 5 or 6 can be enough to actually just win the game out, especially if you get the addition of a pistol. Then you really will see Epsilon with their backs against the wall. However, we do know how close Epsilon like to play these games. They don't really like to win too heavily, except in that sort of last map that we saw today. Nice work from Draken though. He only actually has 2 more players to find, so that AWP may not have had too much of an impact yet, but now's the real factor. The only problem is he's so low on HP, but actually finds one more. Now it's going to be all down to NKO, and that may have been a bit of a misplay. The fake bomb plant could just give the round away, but it's going to be Draken. How on earth did he just clutch that one out? That's ridiculous plays coming out from the Swedish player, and I sort of hated on that AWP. I take everything back. Phenomenal stuff from him, and instead of their economy being reset and Mortal Kombat getting back to 3, we're going to see Epsilon get the money back in their favor and possibly build a bigger lead.
I'm not quite sure what on earth we just witnessed there, Tom. The AWP going absolutely huge. Draken doing their work, and I think we're already seeing a bit of a prediction taking place. So Draken, he's going to be right on that top spot. As we see the statistics at the end of this map, of course, there's still a long road ahead of us so far. Draken already looking down mid there, looking to find himself a shot through the smoke. Not quite going to connect though, and already Victor barreling out on towards the site there. Gets Punisher though. Rez going to be looking to do the work for Famus, making it a second frag as well. There's now Draken over towards the B site, ready and waiting, holding off this push. And it's just going to be Epsilon picking them off one by one by one. MK dropping like flies here, and no opportunity for them to dish out any more damage.
Yeah, the bomb's down. Rez should be able to clean this one up quite comfortably. And again, we see Mortal Kombat actually forcing into rounds that I don't feel like it's necessary at all. However, there's Bubble to add a little bit more insult and injury, as we see quite a lot of damage actually done there. 3 players dropped. The money's still not great. They don't even save the AWP onto Draken either, so that's going to really hurt. And, well, hopefully we will just see an eco now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Mortal forced again. They know that they've done the damage. They know that they're hurting, and there is that possibility to break back. The only real problem is if they don't win the round, they would again be in economic trouble. So with 2 rounds lost, the next round they'll be getting 2,400, and, well, an early stage to call a tactical pause, I have to say, but if they can make things work, if they can switch things up, that's fair enough.
I think out early is certainly true, but at the same time, you said they could go for this force up. If they can come up with something completely unique, completely unexpected, make use of this force up, then
Mirage?
we can't say that we haven't seen MK deliver a killing blow with these pistols before. It's happened twice.
Unique plays, I feel like you might see those on Nuke, but ultimately everything has been tried before, most of the time.
It's a bold statement, Tom.
But I just don't know what they could realistically do here, because most of the positions take long-range duels, especially at the start. Of course, if you run into apartments, you can get close pretty quickly, but there's still that long-range choke point where you have to run down and get very, very close and personal. On the A site, you can burst quickly, but again, there's sort of that factor of if they're holding far enough back, the rifles will again be able to just close you down. And I like the fact that they are constantly trying to break the economy. They clearly know the economy game of their opposition, and that is why they pick up these pistols a lot of the time. The only problem I really have is that it constantly hurts their own economy, and I don't even know why I really questioned it. I said that it was a possibility. It's much more than a possibility. They're going for this force buy.
They're putting every single penny, or dollar should I say, into this round. And it all comes down now. Will they bring anything unique to the table? Tom, you seem to think everything has been discovered.
On Mirage.
On Mirage, anyway. But will we be seeing anything new brought to the cards by the MK side? That's the question that we're asking. That's the question everybody at home is asking. And now we're going to be looking to see a bit of a response here. And to kick things off, it's going to be a standard strat from the Epsilon side. But I think we are just seeing a bit of an ace smoke setup coming out from them so far, which is not anything new. But in the terms of this game, in terms of the context of this situation, it is completely new for the MK side here, and this could prove to be something that the Swedish side just aren't expecting from a team like MK. As now the smoke's going to be rolling down, the flash is going to be kicking off, and it all comes down to will this be an explosive round with these pistols? Will they better pick up the frags? It seems no, they're being just taken down one by one by one. Freddy going huge this round, finding himself 2 frags, eventually being taken down by Victor, but is it all just a little bit too late?
Yeah, Disco actually continues his reign of terror by taking down a teammate. But the after-plant positions, well, they're very, very difficult to defend. That has to be said. You're going to have to force out. You're going to have to run into open positions. And the nades are being very smartly used here by Epsilon. And this was sort of a factor on Cash as well. Yeah, sure, Mortal Kombat can get the bomb down. Epsilon don't care. They're just going to go and take it straight back. And when you look at the money, that bomb plant allows them to go for something better than the last round. But it's still not a buy. It's still not a full buy. And they are just going to go with some pistols here, basically wait for the next round. And well, all they really did was they pushed back the ability to buy in this round into the next round, but they'll have some pistols in this round. So damage-wise overall, if they could then win the next and then string rounds together for like 5 or 6 rounds, you'd say, okay, that was brilliant. But if they lose this and lose the next round, they're going to put themselves 8-1 down just by force buying.
We're waiting to see though just how they are going to pull this one off. The flashes coming in towards ramp there. Freddy playing very, very close here. They've got players cornering him off in every single spot here, but can he make anything happen? He finds one, finds two, finds a third, snapping to the head. And now we find ourselves with just Victor and Bubble, the 2 men left standing. Victor trying his best, Bubble doing the damage as well. The pistol's going to be doing at least something, but is it going to be enough? A 1v2 situation. The Deagle in hand, body armor to play with. But even then it's going to be Delos and Draken ready and waiting. They have an AWP and an M4 in their hands. And well, they're just going to be lying in lurch to wait and see. Will Bubble show his face? Will he dare to try and find the bomb? Or will he simply be saving this round out with the body armor and the Deagle?
I don't think he'll be doing that. I would be in awe if that was his decision to save after the way that they've played the rest of the games with only 2 players left. It would be one of the most surprising things I think that's ever happened to me in my whole life. And in fact, he will just push in and get taken down by Zealous. Again, they are doing damage. I have to question whether or not damage is always going to be enough. But if they manage to win this round, they will, of course, severely hurt Epsilon economy. Maybe not enough for a straight eco, but it is actually looking pretty damn close to that. So possibly won't be the worst strategy in the world, but it's going to be those next couple of rounds that really tell the story of Mortal Kombat's game. Will this be that sort of redemption point of the map where they've constantly been sort of tapping away, almost making a sculpture, or are they just going to get hit by a boulder?
Well, you say that. We talk about stories being rewritten. The entire head-to-head matchup in terms of statistics of this is just being completely smashed to the ground. Before we played today, Tom, we found ourselves in a 1-6 situation, with Epsilon, of course, just having the 1.
It's not done yet.
It's not done yet, but already look at it. We're in round 9. 7-1 is the situation. Epsilon, they clawed back a second map out of nowhere on Cash, and they're starting things off with a huge fashion in this third map over on Mirage. And while we talk about this round, the 9th round indeed is where we are at. And it's just going to be a nice and patient setup from them. A double man setup over towards connector, making sure they can pin it down mid here. Spider going to be smoking him off though. But is it good enough? They could just be very aggressive here. But they are going to be biding their time. Spider looking like he wants to walk through this. He's going to show his face. Draken going to miss potentially an easy shot there. Will get punished for it, but the trade will roll in. So at least something fall into the hands of the MK side.
Yeah, expected him to hit that shot. Disco has a good idea. Is he going to get the frag? Yes, he is, and Freddy's found another in the meantime. Talk about this round being the possible redemption round. It does not look like that's the case. 2 kills for Freddy, 2 kills for Disco. Now they're just trying to keep it clean, and that was actually a hit. That flick was wonderful. Doesn't quite manage to get the frag, but the first round that we see a buy actually come in is the one that Epsilon managed to win pretty cleanly, only losing Draken. Well, they have enough to buy. It will not be a particularly good buy on the Mortal Kombat side with some
I don't think
nades
it really matters,
available.
to be honest, if they have enough to buy.
Yeah, they just
go
buy
anyway.
no matter what. They always buy. So it's a scary factor. And well, even if Bubble ever wanted an AWP, he never has the chance because they never have any money. Freddy, he will go very aggressive. And you speak of Bubble, he hears his name and he finds that first frag. And well, Disco actually going to manage to find that kill. It will quickly be traded out. Zealous now waiting, and well, this was exactly what Mortal Kombat did last time. They got themselves to a point where their economy was very weak. Then they might win a round, but then they'll get reset again. But Zealous isn't even allowing them to do just that. He finds 2 kills. It is coming closer, but Rez, he rotates him very quickly and leaves NKL left alone.
One man standing, he's over towards that connector position, but this is no blockbuster film. He's going to be caught very much out in the open, already being faced down by one player. Rez spotted him out, the Molotov's going to be raining in. 1 minute on the clock though, so at least he does have some time to play with, as he is going to be throwing all he's got through that smoke here, getting himself poised to go for this push. And I've got to say, I don't think there's too much he can pull off here. The orb just of Draken is just ready and waiting for that push to roll in. Once the smoke that's closest to the site does fade, it's just basically him signing his own death wish and just saying, when do I want to die?
Yeah, that seems to be the big problem. He has a bit of time to play with. The problem is the bomb's in such a horrible position. They're already set up for a crossfire on that bomb, taking a little bit of extra damage, but dealing just as much back. But he has to find 3 players. They only need to find 1, and it seems like the Epsilon side are just teasing with him here. 9-1 up, and well, again, they're not going to get reset. They're going to have a loss bonus, so I would not be at all surprised if they at least buy something. Ultimately, with most teams here, you'd see them go for something like pistols, but of course, Mortal Kombat don't really do pistols unless they have 1,500 in the bank. So it is going to be another complete force buy. One day we may see them actually pull off one of these rounds, but so far that hasn't been the case, and they're just handing economy and rounds over to Epsilon, so I'm quite scared for them here.
Brutal start indeed. Doppler going to find himself one, takes down Bubble, and I've got to say, Mortal Kombat, they need to do something because I'm not sure this level of domination is quite PG-13, as Rez going to be finding himself another frag. Zelos picks up 1 respectively, Zelos makes it 2. Again, we find ourselves with just Spider, 1 man standing, up against 5 this time around, even more impossible odds, and perhaps we're just going to be seeing Epsilon once again play with their food.
Yeah, this has been a trounce round, and well, they're not changing anything. They're just trying to push different ways, maybe a bit quicker. It seems like a team that may have already given up defeat. It's really, really poor, actually, from the MK side. A flawless round, which the sort of force buy thing was nice, or maybe cute, when you have the weaker economy on the other side. But now they're starting to build it up. 8,600, 6,300, 4,800 even is enough to rebuy. Well, actually, 3,800 with a 1,400 bonus. That's almost a 4-buy on the CT side. So they're not even struggling at this stage. They didn't lose any players in that round. And finally, we're going to see just Tech 9s and Armor while building up a little bit of extra cash. But if they don't win this round, which is unlikely but possible, they're already going to be at the sort of point where you say, okay, any more than that, and you really do have a problem.
We're just going to be seeing another mow down come into effect. The Lawnmower in full swing. Zealous will make it 2. Of course, another frag falling into the hands of Freddy very on with a bit of aggression towards ramp there, and it just means that MK are left with 2 players, Bubble and NKL. They're trying their best with these Tech 9s, tapping away. NKL will find 1 on towards Doppler, but Rez has taken down Bubble. And once again, it's all going to be on this 1 player. He has an orb to play with now, so at least the potential's there to do something absolutely huge. Finds a great wall bang on towards Rez, looking to make it 2, in fact. Needs to land a shot on towards Freddy, but he's missed 2. Will he be able to land a 3rd? Got the Molotov going to be going down there. Now there's a player over towards B. It's going to be Draken. And he's going to be scoping the orb and takes him down.
That's actually really low in those rounds. Epsilon taking a lot of damage. The other thing that's actually quite making me laugh is the fact that Bubble's picture is his name with an orb above it. Which he hasn't had one the whole game or the previous match.
We mentioned this before we even got into this one when we were just discussing this between ourselves. Bubble is an AWPer that he's an AWPer, but he doesn't really AWP half that much.
Well, we have 3 AWPs in the server, which actually it wouldn't be too uncommon for Mirage, 2 on the CT side, 1 on the T. But instead, they've just decided, well, Bubble doesn't want to use it, so we'll just go for a triple AWP setup on the CT side. This may be a little bit overzealous from Epsilon, it has to be said. But if it pays off, it pays off. And so far, they've been hitting their shots with these AWPs. Clearly, Rez wants to add an additional one in. And, well, already spotting out players. Doppelin doesn't go for the initial shot, tries to find somebody else. And, unfortunately, it hasn't paid off. But Zealous is there. He's having another big, big game. And he was missing from the first one. It was really visible in the way that they were playing. He's definitely here for this one. And he was there for the last 2. Already performing uncontrollably, really. Mortal Kombat have nothing to say. Freddy going to take a little bit of damage, actually coming out from a teammate, but ultimately it's still a 5 versus 3, and, well, the CT side have been pretty damn good so far.
You said this triple AWP setup was scary, though. I don't believe so. They just went very aggressive with them over towards mid. They got the information, and what we see here, Nicky's going to be trying to at least punish it. Will find himself, too, dipping through the smoke now, but quickly taken down by the pistol of Doppelin. And 3 AWP setup, yeah, a little bit risky, but it actually worked because of the way they choose to play it. They play 1 on both sides, then they have 1 AWP just to gamble his way up towards mid, get some easy information, look for a frag. If he found that frag, it would have been even quicker of basically a deathmatch round from the Swedish side.
Yeah, I'd say the reason I don't like it is because 1 quick push towards B or A, and that AWP setup, if smokes are used correctly, is useless. You don't want to be retaking with the triple AWP setup. They have got it again, and again they're going to go for some more aggressive plays. Obviously at this point, they're already 12-1 up. They're going to find another frag. Draken looking for more. May just be an idea to fall back here as Spy Leader is going to take him out of the round. But, well, there's Doppelin again to trade. And, well, ultimately we talk about the fact that the trading is working very, very well for Epsilon. They're finding frags all over the shop. They're very, very confident at this stage. Of course, already on 12 rounds. Why not? But that may have been a little bit over the top from Zealous as he goes pushing out mid, hands away a frag, and now we're back to a 3 versus 3.
I certainly agree with your point of view on the the triple AWP setup when it comes down to those all-in pushes, but perhaps we're seeing just a bit of a read coming out from the Swedish side now as well, MK, they aren't really going for those all-in pushes. They're playing it very, very slowly, and these AWPs are punishing them so far. As Reeves actually going to be taken down there, but the quick trade to roll in. Freddy will find one, but NKL will trade it straight back to the hands of the MK side. So they are actually getting themselves an advantage here, with just Rez being the last man standing, and well, he's going to be edging a stay closer and closer. Nice little tiptoe effect here. He's got the AWP and the P250 to play with, and don't want to write him off completely, but he is going to be retaking with an AWP.
Yeah, of course, don't want to write them off at all. They've only lost one round so far. Maybe the second will be with this double AWP setup, and well, now he's going to be trapped in a corner as NKL sits in a bit of an off angle that wasn't really expected. 12-2 Mortal Kombat. They manage a round. I would talk about resetting economy, but they finally get their second round at the penultimate round to the half. So either way, it is going to be a bye coming in. CT side pretty comfortable as now they've kept so many clean rounds that they don't really care about losing that one, and well, they fall back to just a single AWP strategy. I think that, well, that and the double AWP, I'm absolutely fine with. Triple AWP, I still feel is just too much, and anything more than that, you're just being silly. Hence SK, they actually managed to win a round with 5 AWPs, but either way, it's 12-2, very convincing so far from Epsilon and Mortal Kombat. They need this round and the pistol to even have a chance.
Just going to be witnessing this one unfold. 1 minute 25 coming up on the clock now, and well, so far from the MK side, it's going to be just a very slow start. One player over towards A, one backed off towards the T spawn, with one pushed up very close on towards B there, and well, we can see a little bit like MK want to be toying around with mid, but they don't seem very confident, and already that doesn't spell too much of a strong start for them. It's going to be Doppelin just spraying them down with the M4, picks off both of those players, just getting punished because they have no confidence, and albeit Bubble will find one over towards A. Is it going to be enough? A beautiful one-tap though, takes down Draken as well, but now Zealous, he's right up behind them, takes down the bomb, and it's all done and dusted. 13-2 will be the scoreline. Some beautiful lurks, some beautiful frags, and well, MK, they just seem completely lackluster at this point, a broken side.
Well, you're seeing one team with everybody hitting their shots, one team just not having anything to offer. They force sport so many times that you see this ridiculous string of rounds coming together, 10 in a row for the CT side. The pause came out at 5-1. I was talking about the fact that I thought it was a little bit early, and well, if you call a pause and then lose the next consecutive 8 rounds, I don't think that pause has worked very well. So MK I don't know what the pause really did. It was like, okay, so we've paused and we've decided force buy every round. Because that's not a strategy. That isn't any sort of brains put into anything there. And they've just forced themselves out of this. They're now going onto the CT side with a 2-round buffer to try and get themselves back into this. Other than that, if they lose the pistol, I think it's all but over. But already we're seeing a very quick push over towards the B site with one player up top of mid with the Tech 9, possibly going to go for some slightly longer range shots. Freddy going to go very aggressive, but, well, now they've just got to try and retake it. And the main thing here is they don't have a kit.
They're going to be pushing straight into the hands of Freddy. He's going to quickly drop those to Victor because he's finding himself one spy. They're going for a quick aggressive push as well. Won't quite pay off. He will drop to the hands of Draken, but now he's looking to do some work himself there. Crouching around that bench position. Nicky will find himself one. And it looks just gone undone here. They're trying their best on the Epsilon side, but it seems like it's all just going to be not enough this time around. Just one man standing. Zealous with the Tech 9. They're tapping away. He needs to shut off this defuse. He's got to shut off the defuse. In fact, brings it back to a 1v1. Spamming over the... He's only gone and done it. I don't have no idea how he's made it happen. But he's going to walk away with it. 14-2 will be the scoreline, and out of nowhere, the Swedish side will walk away with the pissed round. Tom, I'm lost to words.
Zealous going huge. Absolutely huge. He's just below a 3 KD at the moment. He's been finding crucial frags all the way across the board, whether it be first kills of the round or clutches like that. And it's really nice to see, because that first map, he was not there at all. The second two, he's been the best player in the server. And it really has made a massive difference for the team. Of course, they've now got themselves that pistol, which they probably shouldn't have won, but that is the difference between buying a kit and not buying a kit. The fact is they would have had that defuse quite easily if they'd bought one. Obviously, that is the power of hindsight, but playing a retake strategy on a site, you really do need a kit. It's sort of the bread and butter of that retake.
100%, and now we're going to be seeing them paying the price for losing the pistol round. It's going to be a complete force-up with those pistols. But is it going to be enough to hold off this push? And Nicky will open things up, proving that it will in fact be. Finds himself a beautiful 3K there. Takes down players. Draken trying to claw things back, but already a massive disadvantage being handed to the Epsilon side.
Yeah, the other thing is they've got these 2 rifles, so the 2 rifle players are going to be able to try and hold on to this one. Of course, that would be a way for MK to build up economy without actually saving, just to get these rifles back. It's not going to be going too well so far, as a lot of damage is being done, and it's all left down to Rez, who isn't able to spray down the remainder of the players. So we will see a couple of AKs picked up if they can just find the second one, which they will, and that's worked very, very nicely for MK. Maybe they won't have to save to actually buy rifles. They'll just win a round where they probably shouldn't have.
Certainly true, and well, now we see Epsilon on the back foot here. They don't have the money to do anything too crazy. I can hope we're not going to see a bit of a crazy force-up. No MKS force-ups coming in from them, and well, that has been a key difference for them. They've just managed to stabilize things. Now they know that they have to go into this one with just these Speedo 50s, 2 smokes and 3 flashes to play with. But even then, they're just going to be playing this one knowingly on the back foot and not being too crazy. And what HG Grenade going to be trying to do a little bit of damage there, but little does know it's just not going to be in time. Not going to be landing near and dishing out the damage there, but it's going to be a bit of an A-push, looking like it's going to be rolling out the Spider. Going to be ready and waiting with the M4 though. And well, this potentially could be a pretty bleak round from the Swedish side.
Yeah, the Swedish side, they want to try and get the bomb down. That is plan A, B, and C, and it seems like it may just get away with it. It actually looks like they're going to fall, and that's unfortunate, because that was a spray through the smoke. Now they have 2 players left to try and defend this one. Freddy is doing some nice work with the P250. Of course, we talk about damage. This is one of those factors. Like, they only had pistols in this round, trying to do some damage. I like the idea behind the smokes, but it doesn't work out. Nicky will finish things off, and, well, of course, we do talk about a very long road ahead. The T side, this is their decision whether they force in with AKs now or whether they wait around and come back in later. And this is a real sort of showing of control, the complete opposite we saw from Mortal Kombat. I do have to say there's a huge difference in the sort of scoreline that Mortal Kombat had. Mortal Kombat were trying to come back, whereas the Swedish side, they have a lead of 10 rounds. So they don't really have any sort of necessity in forcing into this, but it still could have been seen. Like, Mortal Kombat should have realized we're on the weaker side of the map. We don't need to go for these ridiculous buys. We can just sort of wait, bring our 4-buy together, and I'm pretty sure one of the first few AK rounds was one of the rounds they won, whereas the pistols really didn't achieve anything.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing if those pistols will try and achieve anything in this round. They are going to find a couple, though. Rez will pick up 2 with a CZ, doing the damage, picks himself up a rifle now to play with. But is it going to be enough to have any impact in this round, of course? With 1 minute 15 on the clock, they do have a good chunk of time to play with. They are going to be edging themselves closer and closer to that B site. And well, the one problem we see here, Tom, is the fact that the one player playing the anchor sort of role, he's actually looking towards window.
Oh, this is going to be one of those timing sort of positions at the moment. Rez going to jump out the window. Nicky will hear him. Now they're going to push back in circles, and it seems like they're both peeking in the direction that the player once was. And this could work out perfectly for one of the teams. Not sure who it will be just yet. And, well, ultimately we saw the MK side covering the A site. Now the push seems to be going towards the A site. They've rotated over towards B. So either way, it could work out in either team's favor at this point. Of course, a bomb plant plus a couple more kills, or a kill even, would really hurt the economy of Mortal Kombat. And although they only have to be able to rebuy at least once, it may not even be a possibility if this is the case. 23 seconds left on the clock. The T's, they need to be moving here. They're trying to fake this one out, and Nicky, he's going to completely miss his spray. Opening up the site is going to leave Victor alone. He will spray down one, but doesn't quite manage the second. And now NKL, he's sort of trying to keep this lifeline alive, trying to clutch versus two.
Does he have the confidence to pull this one off, though? That's going to be the big question. He's going to be jumping out on towards the site, playing around these four columns. But he's going to be a little bit lackluster information. His head will quickly be taken out by Doppler with a huge shot there. Takes him down, and Epsilon, they're going to walk away with another round. They are going to be taking series point. 15-4 is the scoreline. And I have a feeling we're starting to see the beginning of the end. A very black picture indeed. A bleak one. And for the MK side, it's just going to be everything they've got thrown into a melting pot. And well, what can they bring to the table here, Tom?
Well, it's funny for me that they actually managed to do what Mortal Kombat were trying to do the majority of their first half, trying to actually find a round out of very, very little invested, and instead Epsilon were basically saying, okay, we're not even really buying into this one, we're saving for the next round, we'll just buy some deagles, see what we can do. Oh, okay, we'll just take the round instead and boost our economy even more. So plenty of nades here. It is going to have to come down to those big individuals with the close range pistols, with the close range pistol, in fact. No, I don't even need to change that. Perfect position from Victor. He's actually going to spot a player throwing out a nade, and he will find the frag as well. Looking for the trader's Rez, and he will do a lot of damage, but that's a third rifle added on to the two that are already there. Rez, however, is going to find an instant trade and actually drop one of those rifles right back to the floor.
Yeah, seeing a quick rotate coming in from Epsilon. They do seem like they want to be hitting towards this A site, of course. And we are just going to be watching the CT side get themselves nice and comfortable here, but I think they've just started to doubt themselves. They've actually rotated one player back over towards jungle there. That's going to be Spider, of course, and well, now this is where things could go horribly wrong. They've only got one person close up on site. It's all going to be on Victor. He does have the rifle now, of course, thanks to that ramp push, but even then, is it going to be enough to hold this one off? The smokes and flashes rolling out. Spider will take down Rez. Victor, though, going to quickly be falling into the hands of Zelos, and it's all drastically falling apart for the MK side. Their hold is being ripped to shreds.
Yeah, 3 versus 3. This is the first time we've seen the AWP for Mortal Kombat, possibly even in the last couple of maps, but saw it on Dust 2. Whether it will make the same impact, we'll have to wait and see. Freddy's trying to hold off Nicky, and will do just that. It leaves just the AWP and a 5-7 to try and make a frag, and well, the AWP is going to be dropped. It's only NKL left, trying to save something with almost nothing in his hands. He's managed to pick up the AWP, have to do something insane. It's not going to be the case. Another dominating performance, 2 16-4s in a row for Epsilon.
Or it could fall apart, but let's talk about players. Zealous,